Okay, today we're going to do a lesson on graphing quadratic functions in Vertex form, but first we're going to do a quick warm-up on finding the product of two binomials. Most of you will look at this and think FOIL, I'm hoping. So when you have a binomial times a binomial, you would want to do FOIL. So FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, last. So first we're going to do x times x, and we're going to get x squared. Outside is x times 3, which is 3x, so plus 3x. Inside is 6 times x, so that's 6x, and last is going to be 6 times 3, which is 18. Then we're going to combine our middle terms, combine like terms, and that's going to be x squared plus 9x plus 18, and that's going to be the answer to that multiplication problem. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit something different on this. It's called the box method. Some of you know how to do it, some of you don't, but some people with FOIL, they just can't get it through their head. And I also know that when we do factoring, I like to use the box method, so it does help. So if you at least are familiar with it, then this will help you when we get to factoring. All right, c minus 5 squared is c minus 5 times c minus 5. Now, box method is binomial times a binomial. So basically, you have a binomial across the top, and then you have to kind of picture binomial down the side. Now, you're probably like, why are you writing it like that? Because this is how the boxes come into play. I usually draw the boxes first. I just wanted you to understand how we got a 2 by 2. So we basically are going to multiply together, and the solutions are going to go in the box. So when you go c times c, you're going to get c squared. Then when you do c times negative 5, you're going to get negative 5c. c times negative 5 is negative 5c, and then negative 5 times negative 5 is a positive 25. Now, one thing that you will notice when you do the box method is that the diagonals will combine. So c squared minus 10c plus 25 is the solution for number 2. All right, let's move on here. It says a projectile shot from the ground reaches the highest point at 225 meters after 3.2 seconds. In seconds is the projectile in the air. So think about it. It's at the ground and it shoots in the air. And remember, what goes up must come. So it reaches its maximum point here, which is 225. We're going to assume that it took 300, or actually not assume, they told us it takes 3.2 seconds to get to here. Well, we're going to, it doesn't gain speed or lose speed, so it continues at a constant rate, so it's going to take 2 seconds to continue down that side. So how long is it in the air? It's in the air for 6.4 seconds. All right, so today, let's go on to this key concept. Today we're going to be working on vertex and intercept form. Vertex form is y equals ax minus h squared plus where the vertex is hk, the axis of symmetry is x equals the h, and the graph opens up or down based on the lead term, or the a. All right, taking that information, let's move to example number 1. Graph y equals x plus 2 squared plus 5. Okay, step 1, identify the constants. Constants are the things that do not change through them. And the constants in this problem are going to be a, h, and k. So a is negative 1/4, h is negative 2. Remember, it's the opposite of the sign that's there, and k is positive 5. And now, since there's a negative out front, that means a is less than 0, so this parabola is going to open down. All right, plot the vertex. The vertex is negative 2, 5, remember that's hk, and the tree is negative 2. So go ahead and plot that. So our is negative 2, and that's also your symmetry. Now our next step is to go ahead and take an x value and plug it into the equation. So I'm going to go 1 to the right of the vertex, because remember, it's mirror image. So if you go 1 to the right of the vertex, it's a point that's 1 to the left of the vertex. So we are going to assume that x is negative 1. So this is if x were negative 1, y b. That's where you take it and you plug it back into here. Equals negative 1/4 negative 1 plus squared plus 5. So you're going to get negative 1/4 times 1 squared plus 5, negative 1/4 times 1 plus 5, and this is negative 0.25. So the coordinate is 4.75. So when x is negative 1, then y is 4.75. So you're going to graph negative 1 and 4.75. And it's, so negative 1 and then 4.75. Remember, that's almost 5. So somewhere about there, and its reflection. Okay, we could pick 0, and that's probably going to be our best bet. So when x equals 0, what would y be? So y equals negative 1/2 0 plus 2 squared plus 4. Negative 1/2 2 squared plus 5. I think I said 4 there, didn't I? Where am I getting 1/2 from? My brain is just so not working right now. So negative 4th times 4 plus 5. Negative 1/4, negative 1 plus 5, and that would give me, so when x is 0, y is 4. So I'm going to plot the point 0 and its reflection. So 0, 4, and its reflection. Now, honestly, it would probably be if you do a smart move to maybe pick 2 or 1 or something like that to give yourself a better spread, but you get the idea. So here is your parabola. Beautiful. All right, now let's do an actual question that might apply to the real world. All right, the Tacoma Narrows Bridge in Washington has 2 towers that each rise 307 feet above the roadway and are connected by as shown. Each cable can be modeled by the function y equals 1 over 7,000 x minus 4 squared plus 727. Who comes up with that stuff? Where x and y are measured in feet. What is the 2 towers? Okay, well, you know that this and this is your vertex. So the vertex of this equation is 1427. So common sense that here is your vertex. Here's your axis of symmetry. Well, if it has gone 1,400 feet, that means from here to here is 1,400 feet. So because it's symmetrical, from here to here, another 1,400 feet. So what is the distance d between the 200 feet and 1,400 feet would be 2,800 feet. See, that question looks like it can be intimidating, really not. All right, your turn. Graph each function labeled with symmetry. All right, so you're going to go ahead and try these. I gave you steps for the first one to kind of help you out a little bit. Go ahead and pause the video and work on that one yourself and see what you came up with, and when you're done, go ahead and hit play. So press pause now. All right, now let's see how you did. First thing you wanted to do was do your constants. Remember, there's an understood 1 here, so a equals, h should be negative 2. It's the opposite of what's here, and negative 3. Now, because a is greater than 0, this parabola is going to open up. So we're going to go ahead and plot our vertex. Remember, our vertex is negative 2, negative 3. So negative 2 and negative 3, and then we have our axis of symmetry that kind of runs right through the middle here. Now we need to evaluate the function for 2 values. So I'm going to go 1 to the right of the vertex, so I'm going to use negative 1. So if x equals negative 1, then I'm going to take that negative 1 and I'm going to plug it in up here. So y equals plus 2 squared minus 3. Negative 1 squared minus 3. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So if x is negative, y is negative 2. So I'm going to plot that point and its reflection. Now another one that I'm going to use is going to be 0. So if x equals 0, what would y be? Well, you're going to plug it in. So if x is 0, then y is 1. X is 0, then y is 1. Plot that and its mirror image or its reflection and draw your parabola. Okay, I hope you did well on that one. Okay, go ahead and go on to example number 2. Pause the video. Go ahead and work it out yourself. If you forget the steps, go up here and take a look. Ready? Go ahead and hit play. Okay, I'm going to work this, as I didn't think to tell you I was starting it, but I'm going to go ahead and work it out. I'm working it out, not talking to you, and just because I need to work it out. Watch my steps. If you see what I'm doing wrong or not what I'm doing wrong, what you did wrong, then you might want to pause the video and do some corrections. Okay, so I got when x is 4, y is negative 3.5, so x is 4, y is 3.5. All right. Okay, now I'm going to make myself real simple, and I'm actually going to again. So when x is 0, y is positive 1/2. So 0, 1. There's my mirror image. Draw my graph. And there you go. All right. Sorry about the lights, my cute little landscape lights that are above. They just went out, so that's why I got a little darker, but we're okay. We can still see. Next one. Now we're moving on to a different form. This one is called the intercept form. This can be a little bit easier. It depends. Both of them easy. You're going to get these a little bit confused, so you need to keep up with it. So intercept form is y x minus p times x minus q. The x-intercepts are p and q. One thing I want to point out to you is that again, it's always going to be the opposite of the sign here, because remember, if this is x plus something, that means it's a negative number, so always go the opposite. Okay, to find the axis of symmetry, which is the line through the middle, which is also your x coordinate of your vertex, you're going to do x equals p plus q divided by 2, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if these are intercepts, then the axis of symmetry is halfway between them. So it's kind of like the distance formula in geometry. And then the same thing applies just like with the open and the closed, or opens up, opens down. All right, now let's take that information and apply it. Identify x-intercepts. Okay, remember, this is actually x minus -3 and x minus positive 1. So because p is -3 and q is 1, the x-intercepts are -3, 0, 1, 0. Okay, now find the coordinates of the vertex. So what we're going to do, just real quick, you know, because of what you just found out here, you know that this graph is going to cross here and it's going to cross here because those are your x-intercepts. So now you need to find the coordinates of the vertex. Remember, the coordinates of the vertex, you're going to find your x first by adding p and q together. So -3 plus 1 all divided by 2, so that's -2 divided by 2 gives you -1. So that is the x coordinate of your vertex. I'm going to go ahead and write it up here. And to find your y, you're going to take that -1, you're going to plug it back into the equation. So y equals 2, 1 plus 3, -1 minus 1, 2, and then -1 plus 3 is 2, -1 minus 1 is -2, and multiply through. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times is -8. Okay, so your vertex is -1 and -8. Now it's going to go off the graph a little bit. So -1, -8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That was my fault. I apologize, but you guys get the idea. All right, so there you go. There's your graph. That one's actually pretty simple. All right, football. The path of a place kick football can be modeled by the function y equals -0.026x times x 46, where x is the horizontal distance in yards and corresponding height in yards. Okay, how far is the football maximum height? All right, so it's asking you what the maximum height is and how far it is. Okay, so what do we know? Well, to having two binomials here, so we could probably safely go ahead and just write that. Telling us that, it's going to tell us, actually, let me take that back and I'm going to erase this. The reason is because I just looked at the picture. So this coordinate over here is actually 0, or 46, 0. So this coordinate right here, because there's your x-axis, your y-axis is actually 0, 0. So we need to actually insert in there an x minus 0 ahead of it. So if you are going from 0 to 46, then you're going to assume it says x is a horizontal distance in yards. So if your person started here and he kicked the ball all the way over to here, how far did it go? Well, we're going to say he kicked it 46 yards. But then it asks you, what is the football's maximum height? Well, because it's a parabola that opens down, this is your maxima, but it's also your vertex. So what are you going to do? You're going to find your vertex. So again, you have to have your P and your Q, and remember your P and your Q are 0 and 46, and to find your X, you're going to go 0 plus 46, and you're going to divide that by 2, and that's going to give you 23. So your X coordinate of your vertex is 23, so we know that this is 23. Then we need to go ahead and find our Y, so we're going to plug it back into the equation, and negative 0.026 X minus, oh, it should be 23 minus 0, I should say. You know what, this is a goof right here. I apologize. Let's go ahead and take that out, a slip of the finger. You guys have to be patient with me. Okay, and then 23 minus 46. And you're going to multiply this through, so negative 0.026, 23, and then 23 minus 46 is going to be negative 23. So just looking at this, a negative, two negatives, that means it's definitely going to be a positive. So then you're going to need to multiply those numbers out. Okay, so you're going to do negative 0.026 times 23 times negative 23, and you're going to get 13.75. The maximum on this would be 23 and 13.754. This is just one of those things that it seems confusing, but it's the same concepts I keep telling you about, but now what they're doing is they're just kind of applying it to something you might understand. All right, so let's go on. Now it's your turn. Okay, go ahead, graph these out. They're real simple. Go back and look at the pages before if you need. So go ahead and pause the video and start to play after you've worked it out yourself. So go ahead and pause it. All right, let's see how you did. Identify the x-intercepts. Well, opposite of the sign, so 3, 0, and 7, 0, opposite of the signs. So that means that these are going to intercept at 3, 0, and 7, 0. Now you want to find the vertex of the coordinates. Now the nice part is I'm going to tell you, I'm going to help you out with a little bit of shortcut here. You know that it's symmetrical. So you could probably use your intelligence and realize that there's your axis of symmetry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right now you already know the coordinates of your vertex of the x is going to be 5. Just use a little common sense. So then you're just going to plug it in. You're going to get 5 minus 3 times 5 minus 7, and that's going to give you 2 times negative 2, which is going to give you negative 4. So the vertex is going to be 5, negative 4. Draw your parabola. All right, anything to save you a little time as long as you understand the concept. Okay, go ahead and hit pause again. Do number 4. All right, here we go. Now, again, let's find our intercepts. Our intercepts are 4, 0, and remember opposite of the sign, so negative 1, 0. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, and negative 1, 0. Okay, so let's use a little common sense again to get our axis of symmetry. Well, in order to divide it evenly, and again, you don't have to do this, but it looks like probably 1.5 is going to be our axis of symmetry. But just in case, let's figure this out. So to find your x value, it's P plus Q, so 4 plus a negative 1, all divided by 2, and that's going to be 3 divided by 2, which is 1.5. So yes, it is 1.5 is our axis of symmetry. Then you take that, you plug it back into the original equation, and figure out your y value. So you're going to do the negative of 1.5 minus 4 times 1.5 plus 1. Okay, and you're going to get 1.5 minus 4 is going to be negative 2.5. And 1.5 plus 1 is positive 2.5. Remember that negative out front. So negative 2.5 times positive 2.5 is going to be, oh, I added, not multiplied, is going to be negative 6.25. But remember, you have this negative out front, so 6.25. So the vertex of this is going to be 1.5, 6.25. So 1.5 and then 6.25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.25. And Draw your parabola. All right, now the next ones are actually, again, not really hard. It's changing it around. You do have to know how to multiply out binomials. So I will do the box method as well as FOIL here. And if for some reason you like the box method, or maybe FOIL didn't work for you and you want to try the box method, be sure to ask me about it in class and I'll be happy to help you. All right, changing from intercept form to standard form. Remember, standard form is the ax plus by plus c. So basically what we need to do is we need to get rid of all the parentheses. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to multiply these two binomials together. So this -2 kind of gets ignored for a minute, so you're going to multiply these together. If you do it by FOIL, you're going to get x squared minus 8x plus 5x minus 40. Okay, but remember you have that -2 out front. Combine like -2 times x squared minus 3x minus 40. But then you need to distribute this -2 through. So -2x squared plus 6x plus 80. Okay, using that same problem, let me go ahead and show you how to use the box method. So if you wanted to multiply x plus 5 times x minus 3, you're going to go ahead and do your box. That's a 2 by 2 box. And you're going to do x plus 5, x minus 8. So x times x is x squared, x times 5 is 5x, x times -8 is -8x, and positive 5 times -8 is -40. Again, diagonals will combine, so you have x squared minus 3x minus 40, but don't forget that -2. And just like in the other way, you're going to have to distribute. So you're going to end up with -2x squared plus 6x plus 80. All right, so there was your, this one is intercept form to standard form. Now this one's vertex form to standard form. It's basically the same idea. Okay, you want to deal with this first. Do not forget that this is not x squared minus 1. You don't just square this and square this. This actually turns into x minus 1 times x minus 1 plus 9. So again, if you want to FOIL it, you're going to go ahead and you're going to FOIL the x minus 1 and the x minus 1. Oh, I'm laughing because I'm almost done with this video and my ink pen just ran out. So I'm going to have to use this pencil. All right, x squared minus x plus 1. Combine like terms in the center there. So you're going to end up with 4 times x squared minus 2x plus 1. And then remember the plus 9's out here. Then you're going to distribute and you're going to get 4x squared minus 8x plus 4. And then that plus 9 gets combined together. 4x squared minus 8x plus 13. There you go. And for space purposes, I'm not going to do the box method on that one. And if you want questions about the box method, I'll be happy to explain it to you in class tomorrow. All right, now it's on your turn. So these are the last two things. I want you to go ahead and pause it. And I'm going to do something a little different with these. I'm just going to write the answers. And so that way, when you come back, you can check your answers. And hopefully you've got the right answer because this is kind of a simplified form. You really shouldn't have, if you do have a problem, we need to work on the multiplying of binomials. All right, so go ahead and pause the video. And when you've worked these two out, or if you worked the first one out, go ahead and start it. And I will have the answer ready for you. Okay, go ahead and pause the video. All right, well, let's see how you did. If you did this correctly, you should have come up with -4x squared minus 8x minus 8. If you got that wrong, go ahead and rework it out. Remember, when you multiply this through, it should be x squared plus 2x plus 2. So make sure you FOILed that out. Okay, hit pause again, or just keep playing if you did both of them. All right, for number 6, you should get 6x squared minus 96 plus 86. This should be your final answer. If you're not sure what I did, when you FOILed this out, you should have gotten x squared minus 16x plus 16. Then you would have had to distribute the 6 through, and then you would have had to subtract the 10 from the 96. Again, if you're having a problem with any of this, star it, make a note in your margin, so that way when you're in class tomorrow, you can ask me for help. That's why we're doing this, to get a little extra attention. Make sure you bring these completed notes tomorrow so that I can help you. And I look forward to becoming an expert about this with you. See you soon.